It's me and Dr. V. There he is, always looking beautiful in the morning. Happily, I was a little worried about him. I had to call him because I always have to call him to like wake him up. But I was afraid he didn't move his clocks, didn't spring forward. I was a little bit concerned, but he's here. It's good. We're rocking. And you see from our thumbnail, Dr. V, we were talking about it, what we're like talking about today. I mean, hey, this is going to be the question. Do you think this war is going to affect the U.S. economy? And that's what our thumbnail was talking about. It. People think war, they think of missiles and soldiers, but we're talking gas prices, inflation. Some people are talking about the stock market. Others don't care as much. But you got like 1/5 of the world's, 25% of the world's oil supply going through there. We're going to talk about the Strait of Hormuz, but then you have even more of other stuff being shipped, which also hits the Indian Ocean, which the Houthis could get involved with. And so you start having these spikes going everywhere. And we're going to talk about it. Who wins, who loses. And I want to know what anybody thinks. Do you think like gas can go up to $6 a gallon? Where we are now, it's regular is like $3.40 a gallon. So I can throw that in to get it started. But that's where we're going to get started, Dr. V, and see where we go with it and see if people think they're running into anything like that. Either way, I think let's talk about where we are. From the beginning, Dr. V and I, though we were yelling at each other, I was doing more of the yelling, we both have agreed that we should not have gone in. We both said it at the beginning. We both said no ifs, ands, or buts. America should not have gone into Iran. Our difference in opinion was I thought we should hit them hard. Joe thought we should pinprick them, but it didn't matter. We kind of went back and forth, had a good talk about it on Wednesday. But the problem was this. Where were we going to go with it? Where it's going to hit them? What were we going to do? What were we going to get? We're just going to get oil. If we're going to get oil, we should be focusing on solar energy. But what were we going to do? What were we going to get? So this is what has happened. Not only are people dying, we're lying. It appears we're lying about that that school with the Iranian kindergarten children that it looks like we hit by mistake. You saw that, Joe, didn't you? And killed those 100 some odd kids. Just if you did it, just say you're sorry, you blew it. I mean, it's just the life these people live. However, so we're looking at this and going, so what is this war getting us? And every day, we're starting to remind me of Vietnam, when all you heard all the time was that we killed this many people, we killed this many people, we killed this many people. We're hearing every day through the papers, oh, we did 1,000 sorties, or we did 200 sorties, or we're knocking out the missiles, and we're doing this and we're doing that. Meanwhile, our radar stations are getting targeted through Russia. They're hitting our stuff out there. We're doing great, but we're hitting their stuff. But you don't see the people getting worked up. You don't see the people fighting. You don't see the people trying to overthrow the government, though they have no weapons. It'd be very hard for them to do. But you don't see them out there doing any of that. And as we keep hitting them, they keep sending their drones out and really wreaking some havoc. And what has happened? What has happened is that the Strait of Hormuz, which is right, I should have had a picture here, but just kind of think it's like, it goes like water goes like this. Iran is here, and this turn is like real thin. So it's hardly any ships can get through, which means it's easy to mine. It's easy to threaten that you're going to take ships out and shoot them or shoot from land. It's easy to do. So you now have all of these ships that are sitting outside the Strait of Hormuz who do not want to go through. They got about, as I said at the beginning, 25% of our oil there, of the world's oil. We don't need oil. 25% of the world's oil there. Those ships are sitting there and they're not going to move. Now we're hearing from the president, I don't know if anybody's been hearing anybody talk about this, about us doing reinsurance, which means we would basically insure or be the insurer of last resort for these ships to go through. And we're talking about having our ships escort them. We don't know what's going on there, but how are you going to do that in a really small area? So right now, all these ships, that's the future. All these ships are sitting there trying to get through. Not only that, just a little ways over, Joe, You have the Red Sea where the Houthis are. And there's other stuff that goes through there, not oil as much, but other goods that travel through there. Hapag Lloyd and the others have said they are not moving through there. They're afraid of sending their stuff through there. So we're not only having oil that's being slowed down or absolutely stopped right now, we're having other things that get shipped by ships. And remember this, that means shipping costs are going up. That means you can't get insurance. That means you're setting yourself up with all this. Dr. V is sharing something with us. Let's see what you got, Dr. V.
You got the Strait of Hormuz.
There it is. Perfect. And if you see it, you see how it's kind of like sticking right. There's like a candle almost. And it goes and sticks right in the middle. That's the Strait of Hormuz. So you've got all of these ships on this side afraid to go in. And then farther to the west, I believe, is where the Indian Ocean is, where they're trying to go around with other stuff you can't get around. So look how close it is. If you bring your ship in, you can be mined. You can have drones take you out. Thank you, Dr. V. That was great. You can have drones taking you out. You can have all that. You have a real problem. And that's why we're having an issue now. And every day this goes on, prices are going up. Prices were not going down before. They kept going up. They had slowed down a little, but they kept going up. Now what is happening on top of none of this oil being the 25% of the oil being able to get through it, all this other stuff, whatever the other stuff is that they ship, not being able to get through, you're now going to have more inflation in this country because if people want to buy things, then it's going to cost more because you can't get the supplies. On top of that, you have two classes of people in this country. And we've been talking about this K-shaped thing for so long. I hate the word K. You either got it or you don't got it in this country. And all these people who are in trouble or are right on the edge are now not going to they can't get jobs. Unemployment is up, right? Jobs are down. We've been talking about this coming for how long, Joe? It's just been slowly working its way in. Why do people want to hire anybody? It doesn't make sense, at least according to these companies. They can just say they don't need them anymore. I call into my doctor's office. I do get an AI that answers. It sounds like a person, asks me what I want to do, asks logical questions, and sends me where I want to go. Wow. I hear it's out there. I actually hear it through the doctor's office. So this is working. So they're not going to be hiring more people. So you've got unemployment going up. You've got jobs not opening. So you got no more jobs. How can an economy be good if you don't hire? If you're not hiring people, the economy can only get worse. So we're looking at oil really getting shut down. It's going to affect Asia and Europe, which is going to affect us eventually. It's going to affect Asia and Europe. The oil is shut down. Other type of stuff that's shipped is shut down. And you can sit there and go, well, why don't we just fly it over? Man, Joe, you've seen those maps, haven't you? Where they've been sitting down and showing how many flights are going over different parts of the Mideast or different parts of countries. It's shut down in a whole bunch of areas there. So even if you're shipping, you have to be able to get a hold of a plane. It's going to cost you a whole lot more. You got to fly way out of the way you would normally go to be able to ship the stuff in, and those prices are going to go up. If you can even get those. It almost has reminded me of COVID, Joe, when you couldn't get anything. We're not there yet, but that's where we're starting to go slowly as things are moving along. So this is just horrible. You can talk all you want about taking out infrastructure, about killing people, about doing whatever. And I want to throw one other thing there. And Joe's going to say, once again, me was correct. He doesn't like saying it, but he's going to say it. He's looking down, trying to hold back the smile. I said to him, Dr. V, these people care less about life than they do about where they're going after life. And I said they're going to fight to the last person, this group inside Iran, because they believe They believe the theology. They believe death to America. They believe that it's okay living here, but it's better to do whatever you got to do here so you can do even a better thing and die and go higher, and that they're going to fight it to the end. And that's what they're doing. And you can see they're just sending these drones everywhere. They hit a salinization plant where in Bahrain today, I think. Salinization. These countries need water. So what's going to happen? Is everybody going to like band together, all the Sunnis, and attack Iran? Where's that going? You have Russia helping Iran, tell them where our stuff is, and there have been rumors that the Lincoln got hit. Nobody knows. They're not talking about anything. Yet where are we going? So economy-wise, Joe, how can it be good? How can it be good? Forgetting that. How can it be neutral? People are not being hired, and we should be going back to what we were talking about before. If you're going to lay people off and start yelling AI, then you get them jobs, or you start training them before you lay them off and say, well, if AI is going to take this job, it's going to make this job more essential, and I'm going to train you for this job and try to work with people. But I think we're in a morass. I think we're in real trouble here, because I don't mean trouble on... I don't think we're going to get bombed or anything, but I think we have a real problem with our economy. Let me just stick with the economy, because everything is getting shut down around the world, which means eventually we're going to get shut down. And it's almost like what it was. I don't think we're in the Depression, but I've been yelling stagflation. I'm now starting to talk possible recession, Joe. And if we have a recession, that bottom group will fall out first. That bottom group that's so far behind on their car loans. That bottom group that's so far behind on their home loans. That bottom group that's so far behind on their loans on their Visa cards and their MasterCards. They're not going to be able to do it. And let me ask you this. Remember all that talk they were talking about with healthcare? People can't afford healthcare. They did nothing about that. So those prices went up like crazy. You gave examples a month or so ago. Nobody's helping them. So now we're going to have no healthcare. So now the hospitals are going to really have to take it on. What are these people in Congress doing? What's the president doing? Everybody's running around. We're at war. We got people who have no real health care. They're really trying to shut it down. I don't know if you've noticed with Obamacare now, Joe, they're making new regs where you can't be automatically re-upped the next year. You have to reapply and do all this. So they're cutting people out through the regs. Nobody sees that going on. While this year, all these people can't even afford to be able to get health care. So we have that. A lot of people are in trouble for making payments, all these defaults, and we're not going to be able to get oil and other stuff in to the rest of the world. That's going to just raise the prices. Big time. Big time. They're raising, you know what's crazy, Joe? You see how fast they raised those prices? There's no way those prices were raised to our gas stations that fast.
Look in the green room, Mark.
What?
Look in the green room. I got a graph for you.
You do great. It was like, let's see here, tremendous. Here we go.
Oh, geez. Oh, well, never mind.
But what he's showing is it's going straight up, okay? And that's the point. It's, who are you, Rosanna Dana? Never mind. Is she the one?
It was a beautiful graph, but it fouled up on the...
And what did it show, Joe, that it was what was going up?
It shows it's going up dramatically.
What is
up
going
to $3.40. Went up from $3 a week ago to $3.40 today.
And they're taking advantage more than that. They're taking advantage of everybody because there's no way the gas guys want to make their money as fast as they can, fine. But they bought all this gas a week ago or whatever. They fill up their tanks. So if they're all of a sudden, they read in the paper the gas is up, they raise it 10 cents. They raise it 20 cents, and you're stuck with the raise even though there's no way. And then the next day you read, Brent went up another 5. Suddenly yours goes up another 10 or 20%. It's like crazy how everybody takes advantage of everybody in these situations. But that's an example of how prices are just going to keep going up. And they don't go down the way they go up. So then that gas price gets funneled through everything else. How much is it going to cost to have food delivered to your house? How much is it going to cost for those people for Uber and everything who pay for their gas to get around? It's got to tamp everything down. I'm really worried that we could be looking at recession with inflation, which I hope stagflation is not as bad, but man, it's just nobody's getting hired, Joe. So that's what Mark thinks. What does the mosh pit think? Have you been watching?
I think the mosh pit agrees with you that they're concerned about the price of gas going up and the economic effects of this war on the economy. So
Right.
I agree with you.
It doesn't matter if you're MAGA or you're left wing, Joe. All it matters is it's going to hit everybody. It's going to hit everybody. It's just, I mean, and when you're driving around, you see how expensive gas is. And then, of course, it's the utilities that are even more expensive. And then what are you going to do when the stuff you're buying goes up in price because you can't get it? Does everybody forget what it was like when we were coming out of COVID and people actually had cash and we had nothing, and all of a sudden the supplies were out there and everybody was bidding on it, and the prices, remember, inflation went up, 9%? It just exploded out of left field. Right now, it's a little bit different because there's no cash out there to be able to try to buy this stuff, which means people are just going to I have to think, put more money away. They've got their tax returns. You can never overestimate American consumers. They always buy, they always put cash out there. But at the same time, in this situation, I think people are going to start putting money away. And I'll tell you this, Joe, and I've been saying this for a while. In this economy, and now it's getting worse, watch out for all that private credit stuff they talk about. It's still, you read Barron's, you read the Journal, you see how everybody's getting nervous. The private credit is where you don't buy stocks. You buy something you see on TV, or you buy your friend told you to buy in on, but you can't get your cash out if something goes bad with the private credit, or if you need your money, if you have a problem in your life. So you got to watch out for that stuff. And people have to remember when Madoff was around and these other guys, what were they talking about, Joe? 10% interest rates, stuff like that. And people look back on it and said, how can you come up? How would they even be taken advantage of? People know you can't get 10% interest rates. Well, I'll tell you this. You can if you have really bad rated credit or if it's unrated credit. But in this kind of a market, if people see that kind of number going up there on the screen or on your telephone or wherever it is, offering you 9-10% credit, 9-10% income for an X amount of years, watch out, get nervous. Get nervous normally anyhow, but here in a possible recession situation where prices are going up and you may need all of your money and you may be in a position where you're close to where you may default, you may not. Don't throw that money into something thinking, wow, 10% can pay me off. I'm going to get paid every month. In these big problems, if there's a problem, there's a good chance you're not going to get paid off every month. We've lived through this. How many cycles, Joe? We've just seen it. And I'm warning you. I'm really getting nervous. And that's why I'm putting it out. Joe's sitting there going, oh, man, I don't care. But I'll tell you this, you got to watch out the market. But the market, I'm not into the market, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, it just seems like it's going down, and you buy it, it's going down. That's what they always say, and one day it's going to turn around and go up. But it's tough then it'll climb a wall of worry. But it ain't climbing the wall of worry right now underneath. Either way, it just doesn't feel good out there, Joe. I think we got a real problem. I think this war is leading to a real economic problem right now, Asia, Europe, but all over America, we're going to be dealing with it. What do you think, Dr. V?
Well, what I think is what I've been saying over the past couple of weeks, I guess, that what is the reason for the war? I mean, it's one thing for us to make sacrifices in terms of economic shortfall, even if it's temporary, it's still an economic cost to us. But it's also a cost in terms of lives, American lives. We lost 6 servicemen. That's a cost. And, I would even expand it, the cost of lives even to Iranian people. That's a cost. And my question is, what is it? What are we trying to accomplish here? And I still haven't heard a good explanation for it. And, short of that, I think it's Congress's responsibility to put the brakes on this. And that's of concern too, that the Congress isn't putting the brakes on this. We had 2 votes this week and they let things slide. I think, again, I'm not an expert in world politics, but I know something about human behavior. And when people are nervous about their security, sometimes they don't make rational decisions. They make irrational decisions. They want certainty. They want security. And so they're willing to compromise some of their basic values for security. People who feel humiliated, who feel defeated, who've gotten their rear ends kicked, again, they're not going to make rational decisions. They make decisions based on they want revenge. And sometimes when people have so much power and they feel a little bit insecure inside, they wield that power to prove how strong they are. And again, it's not a rational decision. It's not a logical decision. It's something based out of their own insecurity. And
as I always said, emotion, Joe. We've always talked about that. How much does emotion play in all this? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So it is important to look at how emotions affect all this and what are people's motivations and who are the adults in the room that are making logical decisions. And when I see Pete Hegseth up there, I worry we don't have an adult that's making a decision. We have somebody who's just into go bro and that sort of thing. It's I was watching cold open for Saturday Night Live, and normally Saturday Night Live is a parody, but I thought I was watching a real press conference. It's
outrageous.
It's a bad situation. So that's my concern. So I don't know what people feel in the mosh pit, but I think that's the big concern right now is that there's no moral imperative here, and I wonder if the motive is not so much because people are worried about the threat of Iran. When I look at the data, it looks like Iran has been less and less of a threat over time, that they've lost their strength. They've lost their ability to inflict damage. And the way they're responding to this, it seems like they're relatively toothless except for some drones.
You're so wrong. There's nothing toothless about this at all.
I don't know. They're getting their rear ends kicked. If this was an MMA fight, they would have tapped out a long time ago.
It doesn't matter. That's where you and I disagree. They don't care if their rear ends get kicked. They are hitting hotels. They are hitting our radar areas. They just hit a desalinization plant. I told you today.
When I look at the videos, all I see is there's another jet that got blown up. There's the energy infrastructure that's
Ministry of
there's the whole leadership that just got blown up. I don't see where Iran is an equal fighter in this. They're fighting a defensive thing, in which they're just trying to inflict as much damage as they can. But
exactly.
Again, if this was an MMA fight, it would have been stopped. It would have been.
But this isn't an MMA fight. This is a group of people. That's what I've been saying. I think it's where we disagree. This is a group of people who feel that living here is cool, but going to heaven's better, that we are their enemy of all time, and they're willing to die for it, and they don't care. So if they're willing to die, they're going to take other people down with them. And they're sitting there saying to the Sunnis, oh, we're not shooting at you. And they're shooting at them, and they're hitting their hotels. Like I said, they hit a desalinization plant today. And all we're hearing is from the Ministry of Information of America, excuse me, that's going on. That's all we're hearing. We don't know everything that's happening. We're hearing in the other countries are having issues. They don't want to hit them. They don't want to freeze their money. Iran's hanging in because that's all Iran wants to do. And that's all they got to do.
Well, time out. Iran is facing an existential crisis.
Right.
They are being told that our goal here is to wipe you out.
Correct.
Okay. So if someone responds to that kind of threat by throwing haymakers wherever they can, by trying to disrupt things as much as they can, by trying to inflict pain on the opposing side, isn't that understandable from a certain perspective? It's not that they want to die, it's that they want to survive, and they want to inflict pain, particularly on American interests, so the Americans will lose interest in the war and pull out. I mean, that's their strategy here, and they're barely able to hang on. It was like
they're willing to do it. They're not willing.
Yeah, but who would not be willing to do it? If the United States was attacked by a super strong power, okay, like Revolutionary War, would we not engage in behaviors in which we try to defend ourselves?
We
That
negotiated
just
like crazy.
when you dehumanize your opponent, that's not going to lead to a lasting peace. I don't believe
But
that's part of the irrational. That's part of the irrational attitude that your opponent is a subhuman, and that gives you a justification. It gives you a justification to wreak havoc on them
that's your
without feeling
definition.
any
Nobody's calling them
imperative.
subhuman. Well, I don't know why you use that word subhuman. Subhuman's got nothing to do with it. They're human beings who have a different way of looking at life, Joe. That doesn't make them subhuman. And if they don't look at
What's
life
different about wanting to survive? What group of people do not want to survive?
I think their focus is they want to survive to go to heaven and make sure that they're
okay. Which religious?
Wait a second, and make sure that which they built
Mhm.
stays in. And I think that's what they want. I don't think they want anything more than that. And I also think they want to destroy us because it's been death to America for 50 some years and have killed lots of Americans. But it has nothing to do with subhuman. We're hitting them. They could have said, okay, we're not going to do the nuclear stuff. We're going to outlast Trump. He can only be president for a couple of years. We'll make a temporary deal now that they want, and then we'll worry about what we do in a couple of years. They could have done that. That's what a lot of people do. They just kind of negotiate their way through it, put it off. But they didn't want to. I'm not saying, I think they're wrong, but I'm not saying right or wrong here. What I'm saying is you got a group of people that didn't want to make a deal, and you have another group of people that's happy not to make a deal, and they both hate each other, and it's got nothing to do with being subhuman. It's two different ways of looking at life. That's
so
all.
When you say they don't want to live,
I didn't say that.
okay,
I
so
said
do
they're
they
happy.
want to? Do the Iranians want to live?
Wait, no, I didn't say Iranians. You're changing everything.
Okay, then who doesn't want to live?
Wait a second. I've been saying this every week, Joe.
Go ahead. Let's be specific.
The group. Wait a second. I'm talking about the group that is the mullahs in that group. That's all. IRGC.
Okay, so the mullahs,
IRGC,
believe
and those guys are happy to live, but they're living to die to go to do something better in heaven. That's what it is. They're religions. Maybe they're right.
That sounds like many religions are happy to live, but their goal in life is to get into heaven. That sounds like many religions
is happy to live, but want to live to die to be able to do even better when they're dead. I mean, you can say the Christians. I don't know. I don't see them lobbing missiles anywhere. But it's beyond the issue. You want to get into why would you fight? Look, we're there. We're dealing with an implacable opponent who I did not think we should have. I'm not going to defend it. Who I did not think, and I've been on the record on this from the beginning. You know it. I said we should not go in. If we go in, we hit them hard. That's what we're doing. We're hitting them hard. The question is, can we knock that group out? Okay, you have a whole lot of great people who live there. They're not up and yelling and saying knock them out. They're not doing anything. So we have to decide what we're doing. Today's discussion, though, is about, because we're doing that, is that going to lead to a bad economy in America? That was today's discussion. So what we've been talking about is that exactly. I think it's going to really hurt our economy and gave all the reasons for it. I ain't worrying about if they're right or wrong or who's doing this or that. I just know they're willing to fight to the end. And unless we stop fighting, it's just going to keep on going. And the more it goes, the more it's going to hurt our economy. And if we don't get smart and the only way, you know what is going to help? I said it last week. The military industrial complex, because we're going to run out of all these interceptors and run out of all this stuff, and are going to have to pump all the cash in to rebuild through the defense. Didn't they just call in the heads of like 3 of the big defense companies, Trump, and had a big talk with them at the White House? So that's what's going to start. This is 1984, Joe. It's exactly, somebody's got to read the book or watch the movie. This is exactly what's going on here. And now the irony, we got to call Ukraine and say, help us fight the drones. We need you. After the way Trump's been stepping on him, bad mouth them. Now we need them to help us because they know how to deal with it, and we don't, and we weren't prepared. That's all I'm talking about. I ain't worried about inhuman, subhuman, above human, alien from Mars. I ain't worried about any of that. I'm just saying this. I think it's really basically that was my question. Do people think that this is going to really hurt our economy? Because when you listen to Trump, prices go up a little bit, it'll come back down. Years, guys, it's not really much of anything. It's jive. I'm saying this is really has the potential to be really bad unless we stop fighting in the next few days, maybe week max. That's where we are, Joe. That's where I am, and that's where I'm coming from today because we like to fight because we're back to Devo. We are devolving backwards. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I think we agree that we shouldn't have started the war. Number one. Number two, I think we agree that the war is already having a bad effect on the economy. I mean, the data clearly shows that. Number three, we agree that
Well, not yet.
longer.
It's not showing much yet. It's just starting. Remember,
Well,
it's happened for a week. Go ahead.
well, the graphs are not looking good right now.
No, they're not. You're right about that. Go ahead.
And number three, the longer it goes, the more profound effect it's going to have on the economy. So we agree on all those points. And the only thing I would say is that if it comes at a cost of human life and economic security, there better be a darn good reason why we're there. And I have not heard the justification for that. That's all my point is.
I'm with you. There have been a
So,
lot of justifications. They kind of shift and move depending on
well,
who's talking.
when you keep changing your justification, it means that there's no real justification. They're just throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what sticks. So I still haven't heard what's the justification here for. And when you lose the moral imperative, I think you lose the American people because the American people are still a very moral people that believe that humans have a right to live, to exist, that we don't have sovereignty over every other country. And we're not in favor of just bullying other countries. We like other countries to live just like we like it when we live. And I maintain that most human beings have the same basic desires that they just want to have a decent life. And I just am not sure how this war that we have now is going to lead to a better life for Iranians. It's not going to make the world safer. It's not going to be safer for Israel either. So that's why I think it's not a very smart war.
It sure ain't safer for us, Joe.
It's not safer for us. I don't think it's safer for anyone.
It isn't. It became bigger than they thought it was going to happen. Let's see what they said here.
Yeah, what's the word in the mosh pit?
I see. Yes, I got Guillermo. I see is here. I see Spart. Let's see here. Ship started going through last night. I don't know if they're going through, Mike. They're saying that they are going to offer reinsurance, I believe. So I don't know if they're going to, Mike say he thinks the ships are going through. I don't know if they're going through yet. I don't know if there's any ships going through yet. And they want to go through with us escorting them. I don't know if we're escorting people. Does Iran own or control Guillermo Hormuz? It's the Strait of Hormuz, as we showed on the map, Guillermo. It's really, really small, and the Strait of Hormuz has like a choke point. Iran is right there at the choke point, and they can just take out anybody they want. They can control that area there. They can mine it and do a whole bunch of stuff. So they do have a big, let's say, massive influence on what happens in the Strait of Hormuz. And when they threaten to shut it down, people don't want to go through. That's the whole idea behind it. They're doing well. Yeah, I'm with that, Spart. Yeah, let us pay for it if the ship goes down. Oil markets, it's what's that, hammed? I don't know what's going to happen with the oil markets today or tomorrow. It's just a matter of how long everything is going to be shut down, because it's not just the oil markets, because oil goes into things that you make. Steel's got to be going up. And then if you're going to have the other stuff cruising, and like I said, the Houthis have done nothing, Joe. I'm afraid to say anything about that, because the Houthis could be hitting those in the Indian Ocean. Then we have some real problems. And it's just we're not prepared for all this. I just think we're in over our heads. It's becoming pretty big, pretty fast. Mike says California's going red. Okay. We'll see what the effects are, Hamd. It's looking like California will elect a Republican governor. We'll see, Guillermo. People are getting sick. People are talking about the flu, Joe. ER are full of people with bad flus and viruses. Stay out of the ER. Let's see here. Convince men to go into battle when you talk God. Trump ain't talking God right now, though, smart. It could be issues, markets. Let's see here. I think most people are just kind of sitting back and are worried. I'll tell you this. Keep the money, guys. Don't spend your money, Joe. Don't spend your money. Don't spend your money. Sit back. Watch. Don't get leveraged now. Watch what's going on. I'm telling it to everybody. I've seen it too many times. All of a sudden, the bottom falls out and people go, whoops, where did that come from? And they act like they don't know. I'm telling you, we're moving towards this. Now is the time to be cool. Don't stretch for a yield. Don't stretch for anything. You got cash. If you have some cash you can afford to invest, you know your thing, fine. But for most people, definitely don't borrow. If you owe money, make sure you got the cash coming in to pay for what you're borrowing for. And don't think you hear some siren calls in the universe telling you they can give you 10%. You can get it monthly and you're in great shape and you never have to worry. I'm telling you, watch out. We're coming into a really worrisome time. Joe calls me. I'm surprised Joe hasn't said this to me today, calling me the doom and gloomer. I'm normally not a doom and gloomer, Joe. Joe normally gives me a little bit of trouble about it, but I'm getting a little bit nervous for the American economy and whatever else can happen out there. This is what happens when you're no longer part of the American century. People don't realize how good we have it. How long ago did we talk about this, Joe? Years ago. It was the American century. We were the hegemon. There wasn't war. There was basically peace. There were little things going on, and we were doing great. And now look what has happened. Doesn't matter if you're right or left. We got a real problem. Joe, is there anything else you think you could say about this issue?
Well,
Really not, huh?
well, I mean, the doom and gloom. I still maintain that prior to this war, the economy was doing okay. It was doing great for some people,
Doesn't
pretty
matter
poor for
now.
others, but average, if you look at it overall, was perking along.
We were hanging.
Now, I'm not. The longer the war goes on, I'm concerned it is going to be bad for everyone. It's going to be disastrous for some people and bad for others. So it's I can't disagree that this is really a bad situation for the economy. And now there may be some industries that profit from this. There
It's
always are
always
for
something
war,
to do, right?
but usually wars lead to increased inflation, and increased inflation is going to be a bad thing for all of us.
It sure is. Tell you, it's all going to go to defense because we're going to have to be ready for defense. I don't know what's going on with China. We got this. This is crazy. Meanwhile, the Ukrainians are pushing back the Russians. They're pushing them, Joe. I can't believe it. I think it's because they got their drones. They know what they're doing. But I want to throw something else quickly out. Goodbye, Christy. No, we don't miss you. Please don't let the door hit you on the way out. I know Joe thought you were a great head of the Department of Homeland Security. I
Yeah.
know Joe always talked to me about, wow, I love Christy. Looking good, knows how to ride a horse, knows how to smile for the camera. Wow, Christy, can't miss you. Love that bed on your plane. Look good. We love seeing all that money being spent on our American money spent on the planes and the love boat and all over else what was going on there. So no loss there, huh? They finally, I don't know why it took Trump so long to get it together with her.
Yeah, I'd be nervous if I was a dog right now.
A lot of dogs. I keep our dog locked in. I keep telling all my friends, lock the door. If she's in the area, it could be over. But now they put her in charge of another thing to blow. It's like something that never has been around, and now she's going to blow it up probably. How can you? I mean,
I don't think she's going to have that much of an advertising budget for that department.
Yeah, but remember they had billions of dollars. Oh, they got nothing's going to have nothing for that. They had all these billions of dollars, but they showed on TV an interview she had back when they first came in and she was doing the ads, and she was talking about how Trump liked the ads and was giving input on how to do the ads and all this. Now, of course, Trump, I know nothing. He's the greatest Sergeant Schultz guy I've ever seen in my life. For those of you who don't know Sergeant Schultz, Hogan's Heroes. Great. I liked the show, caught a lot of stuff, but it was about a prisoner of war camp in Germany. And Sergeant Schultz kind of worked both angles. And he would come in and he would get nervous. So I see nothing, I hear nothing, I say nothing. That's what Trump is. He's Sergeant Schultz. He knows everything till he knows nothing. I wasn't told. No, I was told. No, I wasn't told. It's always another reason to go with something. You'll be yelling tacos soon enough. I don't think it's taco. I think he's just going to realize it's got to stop. I hope, because our economy is just going to get popped, Joe. Anything else? She's gone, so we have nobody else to yell out there. We got our MMA guy running it, Mark Wayne Mullen. He's running DHS now. He's out threatening guys. You see that scene where Bernie tells him to sit down. You're a senator, sit down. He's threatening the witness. I mean, is that too much? But that's where we are, Joe. I don't know what else is going on. I think we're in real trouble. I think we have, I don't know, trouble's the right word. We're in harm's way. Let's put it that way. The economy is in harm's way. We'll know more Wednesday. We'll know more next Sunday. No, we're not going to be on next Sunday. We're going to be on next Saturday at a special at Joe's place. I'm coming in. We'll be there hopefully by 11, ready to rock and roll. Pull up your coffee. Joe's going to have it all laid out nicely for us, the technology guy. No phone. He's going to use his laptop. We're going to just go in and have it all set up just right. You see, he got a little nervous. He stopped shaking his head there for a bit. But he's also going to put on my makeup so I look as good as he looks when I get on the show with him.
Hair and makeup.
That's next Saturday. That'll be at 11 o'clock, right, Joe? 11 Eastern.
Yep, 11 o'clock.
But we're back here Wednesday, of course, this Wednesday at 5. I'm telling you, watch the economy. Please watch the economy. Watch the cracks in Asia. Watch the cracks in Europe. It all just starts working its way over here while China is dancing. China is dancing. Joe, I don't have much else to say.
I think you said it all.
Or is it just my imagination running away with me? It was. Sing with me, Joe. Just my imagination running away with me. All the Temptations, I loved them. I think Smokey wrote that. Either way, if you're square, we ain't there, Joe. We'll see you all. Thank you. Thank you, Spark. Thank you, Guillermo. Thank you. Who else? All of our friends.
Mike has had some good comments. Some good comments in the mosh pit.
Right. Hamdi, the mosh pit looked nice. Thank you all. We will see you all Wednesday at 5. And that's, Joe, that's the way it is.
Period.
Thank you all for coming. We'll see you then.